I'll just text it to you. Check, 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 check.
Check. Check.
Check, check, check.
They not. So we got in. I was worried. They don't look.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Naples, Florida. We are at Paradise Coast Sports Complex for the second matchup of the Scots Spring Break Week. I'm Cade Hamner along with Josh Zilke this afternoon, and we are under cloudy skies, a little bit of wind, and the Scots going to take on the Benjamin School out of the Palm Beach area, Josh.
Yeah, Benjamin is from Florida here. Played Dallas Jesuit on Saturday. Won that game 7-8 on a last-minute shot there by Benjamin. So ought to be a good contest here.
Good matchup. On Monday night is the Scots took on the Hotchkiss School, and everybody getting playing time in that game except for the goalkeepers. We had Ford Crossan in goal, went the whole game, and the word has it is Willie White is going to be in the goal for this game.
Yeah, Willie has been the starter here for most of the season, first year Highland Park, and has played excellent. He's had a couple of really nice games, particularly the Woodlands game. He was excellent in the Woodlands game. And so not a surprise here to see him playing against Benjamin. And I would expect Willie to have another strong outing today.
Starting lineup here, we'll thank the folks at Brooker Law. The starting lineup today should be James Allen, Harrison Brown, and Connor McCutcheon at attack. Hunt Henry, Henrik Johnson, and Colton Heinlein at the midfield line. And the defense, like we mentioned, should be Willie White in goal, Jackson Bond, Griffin Hamner, and Ford Blevins. We'll likely see Pierce Powers as the LSM and a couple of D mids and Dean Doolin and Finn Zilke. We again, updated numbers here. We're playing in our practice pennies, Josh. So there's a few numbers, few guys in their shirts from jerseys from last year. Willie has got 99 on. Connor McCutcheon has got number 8 on. James Allen, number 17. So we'll try to keep you straight if Josh can keep me straight.
Yeah, not only that, but we've got a few of the younger guys up from gold here in their practice pennies as well. So we'll call out the numbers and we'll get the players best we can. Just bear with us as this day goes along. We can usually pick out the players by their gait here after a little bit. So we'll do the best we can. And it looks like we're ready to get underway with Owen Leszewski coming out to take the face.
And a special thanks to Powers Parts, our spring break sponsor. Thank you for underwriting this trip for the boys at Game On Sports so we can bring the stream to all the folks back home and across the country. Owen Leszewski, number 6, Dean Doolin, the shorty, and Pierce Powers will be the LSM. And a good initial win by Owen there. And he'll pitch it back to the defense as they try to make a clear. And Willie with a good fake there, and he'll get it up to midfield. He's got room for it as Dean Doolin steps back. And Willie starting it off with a good scramble here.
Probably not the way Coach Pressler drew up that clear, but again, excellent athletic play by Willie there to get it over the midfield line.
Yeah, effective nonetheless as Colton Heinlein is here on the near side. Gets it up to Hunt, back to Heinlein, working around the top of the box on the near side. Josh and I are stationed this game away from the players from bench on the normal fan side, camera side of the field here. As Hunt works again, spins left, has a hard right, and a good save by the Benjamin keeper.
Yeah, Hunt has really worked hard to develop that spin move over the last 18 months and started to become a very effective weapon there where he creates contact and gets to the inside by spinning around his defender there.
Scott's on a good ride here, not the Bulldog ride, but an effective ride nonetheless. Strong ride. Ball is loose down inside on the far side. And Benjamin picks it back up. And then an errant pass goes out of bounds, and the ball will go to the Scots. Blevin puts it in play for the near side. And there's an errant pass initially by Blevins to Harrison Brown. It's kind of like Harrison didn't see it there, Josh. I'm not sure what that was. Kind of uncharacteristic, but in any case, Benjamin now with control. They move it down in their offensive zone. Pierce Powers with a good late check there, and the ball is down, picked up by Jackson Bond. And back up to Powers for another try for the Scots offense.
Yeah, we've got overcast skies out, and it's really kind of almost like a twilight era light here. And it almost looked like Harrison didn't see that ball as it got lobbed across into the sky here. So something to keep an eye on and see if this ball starts to disappear in this sky here tonight.
Yeah, that's a good observation, Josh. You know, that ball, kind of white-gray ball, kind of up in the cloud line. Good move inside by Bodie Barr. Good strong move inside there, Josh. Bodie spins right, comes back, and shoots left, I believe.
Bodie is one of our more athletic midfielders, can go both right and left. Really good dodger. So great sign for Highland Park Scots to see Bodie getting off early in this game, getting in the rhythm, and a really nice take and finish there for Bodie. So great to see that for the Scots.
1-0, the Scots lead. 9:30 in the first quarter here is Corbin Gray, the shorty, and Mac Dixon now, the LSM on the far side. Owen Leszewski to face off again for Highland Park. Coaches sparking some instructions out to their specialists, and Owens gets his second win of the day.
Good patience there by Owen. He's got 2 face-off wins, and both time he's taken what the game has given him and moved it back to the defenders and let the Highland Park Scots clear it up as a team and keep possession of the ball. So really nice play there by it.
Yeah, long poles working together to get it up across field. Bond, Hamner, and Dixon. And now Heinlein brings it in with his starting midfield line and Henrik and Henry. Colton around the far side gets it to Hash Brown. He'll no doubt roll to his left. Looking for a man inside. He's got Hunt. And then back down deep to McCutcheon. Across GLE, back up to Hunt. Hunt looking for a lane. He fakes left, rolls right, gets it inside to Heinlein. Heinlein backs it back out.
Yeah, Benjamin is shutting off Harrison Brown. So that defender is following Harrison Brown. So we're really playing 5-on-5 right now.
Yeah, good observation there. Even off ball, he's really trying to lock off Brown on that far side of the field. So they're going to take away Brown. Highland Park's got a lot of weapons. They'll find one here in a minute as James Allen works from below GLE, comes up across now, tries to work his way into the crease. Henrik dodging on the inside. Good aggressive man on defense for the Benjamin School. Heinlein moves inside.
Good shot there by Heinlein. Low shot. Goalie able to scoop that one up. Shot clock was running out there. Highland Park needed to get a shot off and did.
Yeah, Josh, and I don't see the shot clock. I assume maybe they're working one on the field. There was one in the stadium scrimmage the other night, but I don't see one out here.
Yeah, I believe they're keeping it over on the sidelines there. I could hear the sideline talking there.
Good to see. Mentioned this other night. Shot clock in play at high school, primarily throughout the entire country. So it's good to be able to play at that same speed and pace that you play back home. You remember, Josh, last year there were several times when we played St. Andrews and he would work it behind the cage last year. And I mean, he'd be back there for 30 seconds.
Yeah, and that was the case too last year on the IMG game. We got down by 2 or 3 there late in the fourth quarter, and they circled the ball for 2 or 3 minutes, just pinging corners with the backup, and we just couldn't get the ball back. So it's great to see playing with the shot clock at the speed of the game and more of a modern style of lacrosse game that the country's playing.
Jackson Bond on his man. He gets a slide from Silky. Silky and Bond communicating down there. Bond now behind the goal at below GLE. His man pitches it up, and Dean Doolin will get a shot at his guy. And there's a pick off by Hamner.
Hamner's going to show off the speed. Highland Park's going to have a 3-on-2 if they play it right. James Allen went down there to Harrison Brown. Also had Connor McCutcheon there on the left side. Kind of pick your choice. Highland Park unable to complete that.
Yeah, so good fast break there started by Hamner. The Benjamin's up covering it pretty good. Maybe a situation where HP should have pulled back out. And there's a good check by Hamner, and HP's got numbers. Another opportunity there, Josh, and Connor McCutcheon just shoots it wide right.
Another great ride. That was James Allen that technically got the check there, but Hamner was up there causing all sorts of problems too. And that fast break was much better played by James Allen, made the right decision there. Connor McCutcheon's going to want that one back. But Highland Park's back in business here, winning the backup.
Yeah, about the 5th possession here for HP. So they're winning the time of possession. Certainly, if they can make hay of it. Finally, Harrison Brown, as tight as his coverage is, does get a shot off. And the goalie does a B2B clear up to his midfielders. They get it to the LSM, and the Benjamin School's in business here.
Yeah, through that scramble there, Harrison Brown ended up with the shorty there on that last possession and got to his strong hand, put a good shot on the goalie. Goalie just able to pick up that one hopper. You mentioned that the turf here at this facility is a little bit shorter, so I would imagine those hops are a little bit cleaner coming off those bounce shots for the goalies. We'll have to keep an eye on that throughout the day.
Yeah, the host at Trilogy Lacrosse did mention that, the stadium turf was shorter, but I think you're right, Josh. This turf is shorter as well. It's more like a soccer type turf. Fake inside there. Benjamin gets it by and is able to get near the crease. Shot goes wide and out of bounds. They've got an attackman back, and they'll get a preset here. Not sure what the shot clock is. Bond covering his man slides. There's the turf, Josh. And Benjamin just in time calls a timeout during that slide.
Yeah, Highland Park's playing solid defense. Benjamin's gotten a couple of shots off here in this last possession. And, we've become accustomed to seeing Highland Park winning 50-50 ground balls. And here on this last possession, we were able to dislodge that ball loose, unable to come up with a loose ball. And Benjamin has come back with another good shot and now has got a timeout to set up a play. So, again, it's those little things against really good teams will start to add up. This is now 2 additional times that the defense is going to have to play defense because we couldn't come up with that ground ball. And Florida's an athletic team. It's an athletic state here at Benjamin. And so I think that's going to be an important aspect moving forward is seeing who comes up with a lot of these 50-50 balls.
Yeah, and Josh mentioned it about a minute before, then we see our first slide on that turf. It's a little bit tough for an attackman to do a quick cutback or a quick spin. We're playing game format here. I believe we're in 12-minute quarters. The clock does stop for timeouts. The clock does start and stop on the whistle for out of bounds and anything like that. Normal game format as opposed to the scrimmage format we had Monday night. Scott's having a successful game, 14-2, or scrimmage rather, 14-2 against Hoskus on Monday. And we got a lot more HP fans in the bleachers today. Sunday was a rough night in DFW, and then Monday as well. A lot of flights canceled, so a lot of our parents couldn't get here for that first matchup. But good to see good representation by the HP crowd here today. Not quite the spring break weather they wanted, Josh, but a little bit of a chill in the air.
Yeah, it looks like all of the Highland Park fans have finally made their way here to Florida, hoping for a little bit of spring break weather and maybe warmer in Dallas today than it is here. So it looks like we're ready for the action here to commence.
They started on the far side near that player's bench. Dean Doolin, the shorty on his man. Mac Dixon, the LSM out right now, along with Corbin Gray, the other SSDM out there with Doolin. Good move down inside. They move it down near the crease, and Benjamin gets a shot up, and that one gets by White to make it 1-1.
Yeah, Highland Park there looks like they got caught a little bit in maybe a half slide situation. Not really sure, but the Benjamin offensive player found himself with the ball 10 or 11 yards open from the goal there at a 45-degree angle. That's going to be a tough shot to stop.
Leshevsky back out at the dot. Zilke and Powers will be his wingers. And on the whistle, Leshevsky with another good clamp. Now he's going to get, they're going to call the loose push on Highland Park. Possession will go to the Benjamin School.
So that's the first face-off loss for Owen Leshevsky. He won the first 2. It'll be interesting to see if he comes out again or if they'll move it over to JR and let him have a go at it this next week.
Yeah, it seemed like it was they went in quarters for the last game. Coach Presser sometimes mixes it up a little bit on spring break and not in his regular game format, but We'll see in a few minutes here. Dean Doolin on his man on the far side. Cutter's on the inside. And there's an attackman covered by Blevins, and he gets his shot off. That goes high and out of bounds. Now down below GLE, Bond will cover his man. And a Bond with a great yard sell check, and Hamner picks it up.
We got two long poles on the fast break here, and along with Finn Zelke. So not a lot of offensive personnel getting over there in midfield here.
Now I had all your defensive unit in, so 4 poles and 2 short stick D-mids. But turnover nonetheless, and another possession for the Scots.
Yeah, that was a much-needed stop for Highland Park. You could sense Benjamin starting to get into a rhythm offensively. So great individual effort there by Jackson Bond, and then Hamner coming up with that ground ball.
And just notice there's a flag down, so likely offsides by the Benjamin school here. And we'll find out what the call is now. Yeah, offside's a call. 30 seconds. Scots will go man up for 30 seconds for the first penalty of the afternoon. And we'll see this man up unit. You've got Bodie Parra, Harrison Brown, Hunt Henry, Colton Highland, James Allen, and Henrik Johnson.
Yeah, I'd like to see Highland Park go to work here pretty quickly and efficiently and see if they can't find one of their shooters in some space and capitalize on this mental mistake here by Benjamin.
Little attempt at a hidden ball trick. They're still doing it here. Scott's obviously working now that in the last few practices. Move it across to danger. He takes a shot, and that's a good save by the keeper. He reaches up towards his ear hole, so I think that hit him in the helmet, and possession stays with Highland Park.
Bodie looks great today. He's aggressive, taking good shots, making good decisions. Bodie can be a difference maker on this offensive team for Highland Park. So couldn't be more happy than what we are now to see how Bodie's come out to start this game.
He does. He's really come out with some fire as Benjamin School's back at full strength. We'll play 6-on-6 here. Possession staying with Highland Park. And here's Parr from the near side. He rolls up to the 12 o'clock position. Has Henrik Johnson inside, and a shot and a great score off the feed by Bodie Parr, Josh.
Yeah, there was Bodie and Colton Highland both had shorties on that last possession. They played a little 2-man game up top, and Bodie came off that pick, and he really had 2 choices. He could have gone back to Colton, who was open, but Heinrich made a really good cut in the front of the goal. And Heinrich, one of our best off-ball players, he's kind of made his living that way. Left-handed player, great timing on his cuts, and just a really good finisher, and nice play there by the Highland Park Scots.
Olszewski stays out for the face-off. Dean Doolin and Mac Dixon, the wingers. And Orange goes first. And Highland Park will get a clean possession here. Olszewski stays in. He drops into the hub. Dean Doolin's got a lane. And he pulls back out.
Yeah, Dean is not your average D midi. He spent his entire life as a 2-way midi up until last year, where he was moved to a D midi. So Dean on the offensive zone is a force to be reckoned with.
There's Harrison Brown moving inside. Is again, Bodie Parr dishes it to Harrison Brown, and Harrison Brown, a natural lefty, he moves to his right and takes a shot from the right side, puts it in the left side of the cage, and the Scots go up 3-1.
Yeah, last couple offensive possessions, they have not been locking off Harrison like they did in that first couple of possessions. So,
let me rethink that now.
So we'll have to see whether that's something that they come back to or whether that was just a missed assignment here. But anytime you can get hash and some movement there on the left side, some good things are going to happen.
Another win for Olszewski. And it'll be make it, take it for Highland Park. And here comes a clear, a little bit too far over the head of White. And that ball comes right into our living room here. And great hands by Missy Highlands party here. And she blocks.
This is Corbin Gray coming up with a great pass up there to Connor, who was just not able to complete that.
And then some movement and chaos behind the goal as Benjamin tries to clear it. The goalie has it. He moves it across the field. And the pressure is there. They'll get a reset. Let's see if we get a bulldog ride here. We do not, as we are 1 second on the clock, Josh, and that'll take us to the end of the first quarter. Highland Park works through a few first-minute kinks, and now they're up 3-1. We'll take a quick break and be back for the start of the second quarter.
Not muting your mics. So, no shot clock, like a 20 and 10, 20 over 10 in.
We're not sure. We thought they were counting. We thought they were counting shot clock on keeping it on the sideline, but we're not positive. We got shot clock in the stadium. I think they're running. Like last well, remember last year with IMG when we got down a couple and they just spun it for 3 minutes in the fourth quarter? Yeah. Like going for corners. You leave one guy on the end line and you spin it for 3 minutes and ping a corner. Oh yeah, boys.
And we are back here in Paradise Coast Sports Complex. We have some official stick checks going on between quarters here. But just a little bit more discussion on the shot clock from some folks here in the crowd. We don't have clarity. To me, Josh, it looks like the teams are playing as if the shot clock's in effect. But maybe we can find out at the halftime break what the true nature of the shot clock is here.
Yeah, we'll send a runner over. We'll get some clarification for us on that one. I think 3-1, you were relatively happy at the end of the first quarter, but Highland Park had a couple of breakaways there that
They did.
You would have liked to see them finish. They had a couple of other opportunities there that maybe could have been finished. I mean, this game could very easily be a 5-1 game and not a 3-1 game. Benjamin's athletic. They're very skilled. They're certainly right in this game. And so you just hope that some of those opportunities don't come back to bite you later in the game.
Yeah, second quarter here, and we're going to see J.R. Faria, the UMass commit, come out, and he's going to take his first face-off of the day. Benjamin School's gone to an LSM. You know, Josh, sometimes that's just saying we're conceding the face-offs. We're going to put our extra pole out there. And J.R. Faria does the same thing that Leshevsky has done, but ends up losing the ball. Won the clamp, won in the initial possession, but then in the scrum lost it, so Benjamin will get a possession here.
Yeah, I didn't hear the referee call possession there. He called it quickly. I'm not sure JR ever truly had possession there, but Benjamin first out of the box is able to pick up that loose ball, and Highland Park's on defense to start the second quarter.
Movement towards the GLE, and Dean Doolin's now behind, working the far side zone of the box. Then Dixon comes out to get on his man, and they move him down towards GLE. And Bond is there with the slide. Back out for Doolin. His man wants to work to the right side and shoot right, and gets a good feed down inside to number 19, and 19 spins and turns and puts it right over Willie's ear hole. Good movement inside there by the Benjamin School, and a good turn and shoot by number 19. 3-2 to score here. Just under a minute elapsed here in the second quarter. And J.R. Faria back out to the dot for the Scots. We'll have Corbin Gray and Pierce Powers, the LSM, on the wing.
Yeah, Corbin, another converted offensive midi, sophomore, spent his entire career.
And boy, they're heavy on J.R. Faria there, Josh.
Yeah, so that's a couple times here that JR is able to win that faceoff and win the clamp, get possession, and unable to find a teammate. I would suspect that Highland Park will make an adjustment here and get that cleaned up.
Yeah, just JR able to win it, but not getting the help he needs or feeling like he has the outlet. Benjamin gets it down to their defensive zone, and then they work it back up for the clear. Now in the offensive zone below GLE, and Doolin, the shorty behind the goal. Cutter's on the inside there. They missed their cutter, and then Willie has a save, but the lucky rebound back out to the Benjamin school.
Willie's got quick hands, and he showed it there. He was lightning quick on there, matching sticks and able to make a great save for Highland Park to preserve the 1-goal lead.
Movement inside there, and he moves into traffic, comes down inside, and gets a shot off. Good slide by Pierce Powers there to make that deflection.
Yeah, Highland Park's defense is a little disorganized right now. We're half a slide behind. We're chasing the ball. Let's see if we can get back in and start to dictate some of the play.
And movement inside there, and he just kind of pushes on Hamner and gets above GLE, spins, and gets a shot past Willie there, and they tied up 3-3.
Yeah, that's a really tall attackman there, and he went back to his left hand and almost had no angle there. It looked like he may have just shot it almost over the top of Willie's helmet there and put it in the side of the goal. So we are all tied up here with 9:38 to go.
So Benjamin playing some offense in the paint near the crease down there on their offensive end of the field, and they've knotted it up at 3 apiece here. JR wins the clamp again, and he comes out with it, and the chase ensues, and again, unable to maintain control. So start of the third quarter, we're 2.5 minutes in. Benjamin scored twice, and Highland Park yet to have an offensive possession.
Yeah, we saw Owen Leshevsky win a couple and work back towards his goalie there. And JR has elected a couple times to try and turn that ball upfield and has gotten into a little bit of trouble there. So I'd like to see him maybe go back and use his defenders a little bit.
Number 4 working again on Hammer. He tries to go right and goes back to his left, gets above GLE and does a spin shot. Now Doolin working below GLE, and they've got a skip pass along the inside. Ball comes out, stays with Benjamin. As Ford Blevins applies some pressure. This man looking to shoot right, rolls down inside, and Willie makes a save. No initial fast break burst here, but Hamner gets it up to Blevins, and Blevins will advance it across midfield. And we'll get to see the Scots on an offensive possession here for the first time in the second quarter.
Yeah, it does look like James was sprinting into the box right there. Cade, he kind of toe tapped there at the box to get himself in there. So it looks like we may be playing without a shot clock, and it may be a 20 and 10 situation. 20 to get it over midfield and another 10 to get it in the box.
Okay. It's good to know. Kind of old school tournament rules and situations where you don't have a 80-second shot clock can lend itself to burning some clock at points in the game when a team gets a lead, but it's a strategy you got to play to. Good aggressive defense here by the Benjamin school.
Yeah, Henrik there with a nice dodge down the right-hand side.
McCutcheon trying to spin inside. He likes to go back down through X, trying to muscle his way inside. Now over to Hunt Henry on the near side. Hunt looking for a lane.
I think they caught Hash Brown for a moving screen there, just leaned into his defender just a little bit. And Highland Park's back on defense. Hunt had to move into the defensive end of the zone here. He is on defense.
Good slide by Pierce Powers there to make that attacker think again that got past Bond. And now Highland Park pressing out on their man.
Both offensive middies, Colton Heinlein and Hunt Henry, caught on defense here. Let's see if Benjamin tries to take advantage of that.
And a lot of right-handed guys that they're trying to force left, and they're Ford with a knockdown on the inside, trying a lot of skip passes, Josh, across that Highland Park defense.
Yeah, and Highland Park's poles are not only are they big and athletic, but they're very well skilled. So going to be a tough situation there for that.
Good check by Ford Blevins is that man, Griffin Hammer's man, powered his way down inside. Ford caught the slide and knocked that ball loose, and Highland Park gets the turnover.
Yeah,
you're right. And the same thing, Josh, there. You're right. The 20 and 10 call, and then you have to touch in the box to call the timeout is what we saw there. So timeout for Highland Park is a tough start to the second quarter here initially, and we'll see what Coach Presso does to adjust.
Yeah, I think defensively, you're still seeing some really good things on the Highland Park Scots there. I think a couple of those possessions, they got a little disorganized. They were behind on their slides. They were a little bit reactionary. And you don't see that from the Scots. And then offensively, we just haven't had a lot of possessions there in this quarter. And, that last possession that we did, we end up turning it over on a moving screen call. So, I think Coach Pressler and Coach Ledman probably wanted to settle this offense down. They'd probably like to see a decent possession here in terms of time, take a little bit of a mental break from the defense, and hopefully try and put one in the back of the net here.
Yeah, and if you don't have the pressure of the shot clock, Josh, that is something you want to settle in. Take your time working the ball around when you don't have a fast break situation. And just take every opportunity you have on the offensive end of the field. Certainly at this point, give your defense a little break.
Yeah, I think when another team takes possession or feels like or takes some momentum and you're playing a little bit from behind, taking some of that air out of the ball,
right.
Cade, and just spinning the ball around, getting some touches, getting into your sets is always a positive thing.
Harrison Brown with his signature left-right juke moves and gets it over to Bodie Parra, who started the game with a lot of fire. Carter Sutton here moves it across. Grady Gearing now. Back to Brown, back to Carter, and Carter wants a strong shot inside, and the Benjamin keeper's up for the task, and he's able to quickly clear it.
Harrison Brown with great hustle here. He's back on defense, helping out. You actually see that from Harrison quite a bit. Harrison plays a lot of midfield at the club level. So he's not a usual attackman here on the defensive end where you're a huge liability. Harrison's, again, has grown up being a lacrosse player. And so he's more than capable here on the defensive end.
Yeah, especially in a situation, Josh, you get a save and a quick clear by the goalkeeper up to that midfielder. You've got to get the man at the top of the box closest to the midline's got to run with him. And Harrison doing that there.
Nice slide by Ford Blevins there, forcing the ball carrier to move that ball before he was ready.
Yeah, effective play by Benjamin up here. They played up near the top of the box, draw their men out, keep one man below at X. But their cutters are coming on the inside. And there's an effective one there. Stacking those guys down near the crease, and that is number one, I believe, gets away from Ford Blevins. And for the first time today, Benjamin goes up 4-3.
Yeah, just a well-timed cut there, and Ford was just maybe a half step behind and went for the trail check and just missed it. Benjamin able to put one in the goal, and looks like we've got Owen Leszewski out here to take this face off here, Kate.
Yeah, interesting, Josh. You kind of noted that Owen did a good job of clamping, and JR2 winning his clamps, but just hasn't had the luck of getting it up the field. And, like you said, Owen worked back for a lot of that first quarter. And here's a situation where they really jump on him. And there's finally, we get a call there. Could be a hold call coming on Benjamin.
This is Dean Doolin with a great ground ball.
Breaks away. And another great save by the Benjamin keeper laying on the ball. We'll see what happens. No call on the goal there, but the hold will come against Benjamin on that face-off where Owen Leszewski was trying to clear it, got tied up, and that LSM got under Owen's arm and went to the ground. 30 seconds. Technical violation for the Scots' second man-up situation of the game.
Yeah, Bodie Para, Hunt Henry, Colton Heinlein, Henrik Johnson, and Carter Sutton.
"30 seconds, just usually a time for about one shot," and that goalkeeper for the Benjamin School has done really well so far in this game. He's catching the bouncers in front of him. Not sure where his kryptonite's going to be.
Yeah, he was starting to move low on that shot before we. Great ride there by Bodie into Hash Brown.
Yeah, good check there by Bodie Parra. Knocks that ball loose. Harrison Brown on the fly. The goalkeeper gets back, and Harrison sends in a low-to-low shot, and right off the keeper's stick and 100 feet into the air. It's Jackson Bond now here. Jackson Bond, a good aggressive play on that ground ball, but he gets pushed out of bounds once he gets possession, and Benjamin will get another try.
Yeah, back to the offensive zone where we continue to shoot low, Cade, and the goalkeeper is starting to drop to his knees there.
Yeah.
As we are shooting, I would like to see some of the guys maybe pull one high. If nothing else, just to make the goalkeeper think a little bit and keep him from anticipating those low shots.
Yeah, he is anticipating and dropping. That's when you need to go top shelf, opposite shoulder, keeping him honest there if he's taking away the low shots, which gives so many goalkeepers trouble. Tough to see coming across all those bodies.
Bond's had himself a really nice game today.
And there's another tough shot. Good shot from about 10 yards out, number one there for the Benjamin School. And that one gets past Willie to make it 5-3 Benjamin.
This has really been a tale of two quarters. Caleb.
Yeah, for sure.
Highland Park dominating the faceoff and the ground balls on the first quarter, and the second quarter has really been Benjamin winning loose balls, great goalie play, and a much more effective offense.
And Benjamin, you got to watch. If Highland Park wins a clamp, they quickly have two men on Leszewski or on the man with the ball. There's one, and there we go. What you talked about in the first quarter, kind of passing back and letting that ball work up the field. Got 20 seconds here to get it across the midline. And they do, right? With not much time to spare, but Bond on the run here. Gets it down inside to Dixon. And now the ball gets loose. And that quick keeper for the Benjamin School is able to get the loose ball.
That's going to be an errant pass by Benjamin, and really a much needed gift for Highland Park.
Just get lucky there and get a breath. Sorry, partner.
Yeah, Highland Park did a really good job on that clear, being patient and working it through, and then we sort of rushed it there at the end, trying to get a quick shot. I think, seeing one go in the goal it is going to do a lot to settle this Highland Park Scots offense down.
Yeah, Henrik Johnson sets a pick there. His man runs through that pick. No call. There you go, Josh. Top shelf And you're going to have to, this goalkeeper is probably about 5'6", and he's a very quick goalkeeper. He is dropping to his knees early. So good call by you. I don't know if you relayed that over to Coach Ledman, but Carter Sutton coming in, and he puts one over the right ear hole of that goalie and bring the Scots back within one with 1:09 to play here in the first half.
Yeah, you can see the goalkeeper dropping down to his knees there as Carter went to go release that ball, and Carter put it top shelf, and really the goalkeeper had already committed to go low. Let's see if Owen moves it back to the goalie again, and let's see if Highland Park can get it back to the offensive zone.
It does just that. Tough ball inside. And possession as Benjamin School comes away with it, and they call a quick timeout with 1 minute to go here in the second quarter. What's the play here, Josh?
A lot of times you will see Highland Park in these situations come out into a zone, Cade.
It's a different look.
Thinking that Benjamin is probably going to try and set up a play. And so, usually those plays are set up for their man-to-man. And so it wouldn't surprise me to see them coming out into a zone. That's the two shorties that they've typically been sending out in the zone have been Dean Doolin and Finn Zilke. So we'll probably get an idea if they're going to go zone, if Finn comes out there, or if Corbin Gray comes out, you may. That may be an indication that they're going to stick with a man-to-man.
Right. Benjamin, no doubt, wanting to maybe not go for the quick shot here, maybe try to burn most of this minute remaining in the first half and leave the Scots without an opportunity to get a possession or counter.
Yeah, I would think Benjamin will probably spin this ball for 30 to 45 seconds, Kate, sort of harmlessly around or doing some dummy dodges, and then looking to engage the offense at maybe somewhere around 25 to 20 seconds left, trying to ensure that they get either the final goal or at least the last shot of the...
Right. Well, here comes your man, Finn Zilke. We may be looking at the zone here, Josh. Pierce Powers, Finn Zilke. The defenders out with Dean Doolin, the additional shorty. Bond, Blevins, and Hamner, the close defenders.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they did. Highland Park dropped into the zone here. Benjamin is going to survey it, and you can hear the Benjamin coaches yelling, "Not yet." So it looks like they're just going to sit and hold for the last shot. Let's see what happens.
And both teams, 2 timeouts, right? So Benjamin has used both of their timeouts, so they should not, I believe, Josh, have another timeout. But they're just going to wait on it as the clock now hits the 30-second mark. Benjamin trying to hold for the last shot here as they lead 5-4, 22 seconds on the clock.
And it looks like they've engaged right there at the 20 to 25 second mark, and they are into their offense.
Spinning the ball quickly here around that Scott zone look. And then a cut on the inside, and they're able to get a top shelf shot. Kind of looks like what they wanted, spinning it around in that clockwise motion and then skip pass back over here to the right side of the cage. And that attacker puts one over Willie's head to make it 6-4 with 6 seconds to go in the half.
Yeah, that was well-executed play by Benjamin. They looked very comfortable with what they were looking to do and certainly got a shot that they were happy with. And that attackman put a nice shot there on Willie.
J.R. Faria back out for the final face-off, and the Benjamin LSM goes. 6 seconds to go here in the half.
Going to take it in,
and the ball gets loose, and that'll be the buzzer. So, like you said, Josh, it's a tale of 2 quarters. Highland Park dominating that first quarter, but Benjamin comes out firing in the second. At the end of this first half, Benjamin leads 6-4. We'll be back for the start of the third quarter in a few minutes.
I'm not getting. It's got ambient audio, so I'm picking up stuff, but and I've seen it more time, but I just don't. Yeah, I can't.
Thanks for that destruction.
No,
God,
it's a little chilly. Not yet.
you can look at nice. Okay, hang your hand up. Stand on it. It's good to stay.
I hope it warms up. That's what that's. What's wrong? That's supposed to be. I mean, I think. Yeah. They say it gets up to the 8th. Well, okay, but get up to. Thank you.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we feel so. Oh,
And it's warm, right?
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we're kind of
I said, it has a ball. It's scared. You know, he's just trying to
windy. Did you go to the baseball game? But that was a little chilly sitting on stand today. Yeah, I know. It's a full large. There was what all had to went to this show, so
Literally, where are the breakers? We're to give you guys what they're calling out. But
half people still undeveloped. Yeah. I didn't either until just now. Is that an actor or is that so maybe that's why this guy was so cheap. Yeah, that's fine. Found out. I thought it was let's see. Fair. So that's good.
Crush.
That's block and patch off.
Well, about half the time they started blocking them and then they let them loose again.
Yeah.
Here's in the future. Oh, you can no, tell me what isn't right.
Got another one. You know that's what I did first. So I'm 20 off a clip that for me. Here, also when we're gonna add it's like it's good, sure. That's a like that.
Well, yeah, I know. My favorite. So, it's like play that. Nothing like getting cursed.
Hang on.
Because so I'm not sure. Yes, it was strong. Issue your form. September, it's scared to turn on time. I need your name for certain things. I can have it. I could.
Like a Yes.
I
Yeah. We're going both. It's happening.
Fabulous job.
It's up over. Couple sprinklers coming in. Very off.
Good record need to help.
which oh, not this team. The next game. Okay.
Or next-
Oh,
Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Here we got about 2 minutes or so before the start of the third quarter. Cade Hamner is getting himself organized. He'll be joining us here shortly as we climb back up onto our perch here at the top of the bleachers.
Get the old joints working here. Feeling good. And
Really a tale of two quarters there. First one dominated by the Highland Park Scots, face-offs, ground balls, offense, defensive play. Really was looking to be a solid performance by the Scots. Second quarter, complete mirror opposite. It was Benjamin who was looking quicker to the ball. Benjamin who was looking picking up the loose ground balls and running a more effective offense. So it'll be interesting to see here in the third quarter which of the two teams show up.
yeah, full analysis of that second or that first half. You know, even in the first quarter, Josh, we had a couple of defensive fast breaks that weren't able to connect on. You know, that's a couple of points you don't get. And then in that second quarter, with the face-off trouble, you know, they really started, like I said, they've really conceded the face-off the clamp, right? They're putting the LSM up. And what they're doing is saying, you're going to get the clamp, we're going to jump on you. And some of the times you're seeing immediately two long poles. You know, you've got the LSM and then the long pole at the face-off dot, and they put a short stick down at the close defense so you don't have more than four on the field. But they're jumping right on that face-off specialist for Highland Park. So you really need to find a way to be effective at moving it back quickly or having your wingers come in and help you quickly and not be in that type of situation where we won the clamp, bail off and get your offensive middies on the field quickly. So
Yeah, this is not going to be a possession one until it's in the attackman's hands down in the offensive zone.
and there's Leshevsky. He gets a clean win and a good sprint down into the offensive box for Highland Park. And you see they're locking off Dean Doolin. They're trying to lock off that short stick winger.
Yeah, nifty move there by Owen. He kind of set up like he was going to go back like he's has throughout the afternoon and then was able to escape out the front side there and run to space. So really, really nifty move there by Owen.
Highland Park setting up here with their starting attack and their starting midfield. Connor McCutcheon rolling around the near side, draws a slide. Now they get it up to Hunt Henry. And McCutcheon loses a shoe and gets the fortunate whistle from the ref to allow him to put a shoe back on. Highland Park will keep possession.
Yeah, that's always the controversial rule. When you lose a glove or something like that comes out, play is stopped and then you get the ball back.
Henrik Johnson catching a check, losing the ball there, and Harrison Brown over there to clean up the trash and keep possession for the Scots. What was that? I thought I heard a whistle and some sort of signal on the field, but it wasn't. Colton Highland rolls inside, takes a shot, and it's stick high to the goalkeeper. Benjamin will take its first offensive possession of the second half.
Yeah, good move there by Colton. Just unable to finish there. Went stick high on the near side on the goalie, and the Benjamin goalie there seemed to be able to track that one.
Yeah, good goalie. He's not got a lot of height, but he's got quick hands, quick reflexes, and stopped a lot of low shots in the first half. Now is stopping a stick high as well, which you'd expect. Hamner defending his man below GLE. Back to X.
Now, Hamner is not a small kid, and number 4 almost matches him up inch for inch. He is a tall, athletic attackman there, probably 6'3", 6'4".
Yeah, probably. Yeah, matches kind of Miller Merritt's height for the Scots.
Great job there by Dean Doolin. Great check there on the pass, forcing the turnover and really the defensive stop that the Highland Park Scots needed. Force a turnover, get the ball back to your offense. We got a great look on offense last time. We had really nice rhythm. So good to see the Scots getting right back on the offensive zone.
Good job by Bond. He advances it all the way to the midfield line and flips it over to Carter Sutton. Carter Sutton steps in the box. Again, like Josh said, we're on a 20-10 clock here. 20 seconds across midfield, 10 seconds into the straining box. No shot clock today. Offense moving it around, and Bodie Parr, on the near side here, looking for a lane. Skip past to Carter Sutton. Carter Sutton with the shot, and man, that goalie is super effective. Certainly, with a clear look, he's like a catcher in there. Jackson Bond here kicking the ball up, and he'll get a chance to start a fast break for the Scots. Zips it back to Zilke. Zilke over to Allen. Allen pulls it out and elects to start the possession for Highland Park. Slow down the pace a bit here. And then Carter Sutton checks in from the box, and he starts the offensive play. And the defender for Benjamin School gets a stick inside, and he knocks it loose. And they'll start their clear. It's a little bit of miscommunication there for Highland Park. And the Benjamin School gets another opportunity on offense here with 8 minutes to play in the third quarter, and they lead 6-4.
Yeah, a couple of good offensive possessions and then a turnover there on that last possession. And defenses started off playing well. Let's see if we can get a stop here.
And able to move down inside. That midfielder, he moves down and no one slides to him or puts a stick on him. And the physical nature of the Highland Park defense, he's kind of just had the wind sucked out of it.
Yeah, Bodie Parra there was guarding the man, and he dodged left, and Pierce Powers kind of did a dummy slide over there too,
Right.
showed him, but didn't actually go and attack him, and unfortunately allowed that defender to get his hands free, maybe 8 yards from the goal, and he was able to put a good shot off.
So Benjamin School doing everything right here on the back of their goalkeeper, who's had an outstanding game. And then the Highland Park defense bending a little bit at this point. Hammer flips it over to Jackson Bond. Jackson Bond looks to get it across midfield, yells for Finn Zilke for the midfielder to stay back.
Yeah,
And Highland Park gets the clear.
Our poles are so athletic that, they seem to be able to run past their attackmen on that ride. And so I would look to see Highland Park do that more often here in the second half on that face-off is clear some space for either Bond or Hamner and let them leg it over.
McCutcheon works it around, catches a screen from Brown, and now Colton Heinlein, he draws a slide and flips it back out to Johnson. Johnson to Henry. Henry down the left side, switches to his right, gets a shot off that bounces in front of the keeper and rolls out of bounds, and possession stays with Highland Park. Good hustle there by Colton Heinlein.
Yeah, Hunt was able to get past his man there, dodging down the alley, just unable to find the far post.
And there's Hash Brown working it back through X. Now to Henry at the top of the box. Back over to Henrik Johnson. He draws a shorty. His stick is inside his jersey, but he makes it out. Gets it down to Allen. Allen now gets a screen from Johnson. They work it up to Connor McCutcheon. Connor McCutcheon, strong body down inside, off the goalkeeper. Long possession for Highland Park here.
Benjamin doing a good job locking off Harrison Brown again.
James Allen now through X, gets it up to Heinlein. Heinlein's got a small opening here, and he works it inside. Physical play by the long pole. Flips it to Hunt. Henry inside, and down to James Allen coming across the crease. Puts it in the back of the net for Highland Park. Pulls the Scots within 2.
James Allen has got a great feel for the timing where he comes from behind X and cuts around there. You've seen that a number of times this season. And Hunt Henry put a really nice pass on him there. Was able to, really nice handle there, was able to get control of the ball, and then made a really nice feed and good finish to James Allen for a much needed Highland Park Scots goal.
Absolutely. We'll see what the Scots put in play here on this one. Leszewski again with the clamp, looks to work it backwards. The ball gets loose. The ball's on the ground, and a scrum ensues. Ball still on the ground. Doolin comes away with it, and he plays fullback and powers through the Berkshire defense, and he goes all the way to the cage and takes a shot. That is a shot. It goes out of bounds, and the Benjamin School is closest to the ball when it goes out of bounds. And they will come away with the ball.
Yeah, we referenced Dean's ability earlier in the game to play offense as well as defense, and so I don't think Coach Presser minds that shot there on a breakaway by Dean. One-on-one with the goalie. Good look for Dean, just unable to find the back of the net there. That's Mac Dixon, your LSM out there, and Finn Zelke on the far wing.
Yeah, Finn on the far side, pushing his man back over to the near side. Then number 1 taking it. He's got a couple today. He shoots from the top of the box from about 10 yards out. That goes over the cage. And now Bond working his man from the inline. Ball is loose, kicked out by Hamner. He picks it up finally and gets it across midfield.
He's got Mac if he wants them.
And Hamner to Dixon. And Dixon back to Hamner, and Hamner takes a shot there. And the result was a save by the Benjamin keeper, who's about 80% on the day, I'd say.
We don't have official stats here, but he's probably 12 to 14 saves, I would think.
Great job by Corbin Gray there, getting his man across the field, and the turf monster gets the best of Corbin. And unfortunately, loses ball, a turnover there. Dixon slides to his man. It gets past Bond. And Benjamin sets up for an offensive possession.
Yeah, I feel like Highland Park is pressing on offense a little bit. You're only down 7-5. There's a quarter and there's 15 minutes left to play. I think that they just need to relax there on the offensive zone, get their offensive personnel in and execute their offense.
Yeah, I agree, Josh. Even on a fast break there, if you don't have it initially, you need to pull out. Good save by Willie there. And then Blevins on the near side. Benjamin going with a 10-man ride here. Willie works it up across midfield. And he's got some running room. And now here's one where Highland Park will have to dig in and take a possession, give Willie some time to breathe and get back to the cage.
Yeah, I think, offensively, James Allen, the captain there, did a really good job. Came out 17, got the ball, kind of settled everybody down. And here we've got our offensive possession. Again, no shot clock here, Cade. So, you can hold for the last shot theoretically in 2.5 minutes if you wanted to. But, let's spin the ball around and get a little bit of rhythm here on the defensive zone and turnover for the Scots.
Yeah, turnover for the Scots there. Connor McCutcheon catching a check and then losing his stick, so he can't play until he picks his stick back up. But some good pressure on the ride here for Highland Park. Well, ultimately, it looks like Benjamin will get it up across midfield, as no one was covering on the far side there. 2 minutes to play here in the third quarter. Scott's down by 2 as Benjamin leads 7-5. Fenzilke, the short stick out there. And they try to make a feed onside. Like you said, Josh, they're not scared to make a skip pass. That one goes in. Willie picks it off. And here's Jackson Bond. And we hear a whistle from the sideline, but that doesn't stop it. Hashbrown goes to shoot, and it's off the goalie's stick and goes out of bounds.
Somebody's got a whistle on the sidelines, or the
I heard
the referee has maybe a 30-second whistle to get into that 30-second timer. I can see him touching something on his belt. But I keep hearing something over there that sounds like a whistle, Kate.
Just a quick chirp whistle. It's not a long whistle, and that's got to be what it is, Josh. It's got to be that 2010 timer. And that's got to be a moving screen of some sort.
Yeah, they got Ash there on another moving screen. Coach John about as animated on the sidelines as I've seen him in a long time. Highland Park's feeling just on offense, just a little out of rhythm here. So I'd like to see them just take a deep breath and settle in. We're in good position. They just need to trust their offense, trust their teammates, and just execute.
Yeah, the goalie for Benjamin School now making it all the way across midfield. Highland Park's got 42 seconds here. We'll see what they do with it. Yeah, there's an example. Just kind of not afraid to run past the attacker and get the ball across midfield.
Yeah, when you have the athletes in the back line like Highland Park does, really, there's no reason not to just leg those out.
Cody Parr here. There he goes. With 16 seconds on the clock there, Josh. You get into kind of a rhythm, have a little patience. 16 seconds left in the third. You bring it within 1.
Yeah, a really big goal there by Bodie. He started the Highland Park Scots off today, looking to be really aggressive. He's had a number of good looks, and that was just a really good hard dodge by Bodie. And, certainly hopeful that this is sort of the emergence and the coming out party of Bodie to become really an offensive force, because he's got all of the tools to be a really, really great scorer for the Highland Park Scots down the stretch.
Absolutely. Clean win by Leszewski. 13 seconds on the clock. Leszewski goes, takes the shot. And you think he would be able to do that. And we have two attackers back, looks like. Only the goalie could have been behind him, but the goalie was on the ground. So kind of odd that the possession didn't go to Highland Park there. In any case, we come to the end of the third quarter. Scott's down by 1, 7-6. Josh, what do you do in the fourth quarter?
Well, I think I think we've touched on this a couple of times. Offensively, we're getting great looks when we just run the offense. So on the offensive zone, I'd tell the guys, listen, we're getting the good looks we want. When we're pushing it in transition, if we have a good shot, let's go ahead and take a rip at it. But if it's not there, let's pull it back.
Right.
Let's set the offense up.
Especially with no shot clock.
Yeah, with no shot clock, you're not in any pressure in order to shoot one quickly. And I think defensively, it's just a couple of little things to clean up, and it's mostly on those slide packages. You either slide or you don't slide. And I think a couple of times we've gotten caught in between sliding and not sliding, and that's when some of the guys are able to get their hands free.
Right, and that's just a communication thing, Josh, as I know it. Just you can never stop talking on defense, especially when you have, like we've said, the Scots have played some lesser opponents this year where you may go a whole game without having to call a slide or having to do much on defense, and then transition to a game like Benjamin here. They've got a real threat on offense. You've got to be back to playoff form communication.
Yeah, and I think, defensively, I think this is where some of your leadership from Bond and Hamner and Dean Doolin, some of these guys who've been through situations like this before, this is when you really want to rely on them, for them to set the tone and to communicate back there, and for them to be decisive in their slides and their movements and their communication. And Willie's important with that too. We've got a number of guys, whether it's Ford Blevins or Corbin Gray or Finn Zelke, who are kind of in their first year up on this varsity level and learning the speed of the game here. So.
That's right. J.R. Faria will come out to take the opening face-off of the fourth quarter. Mac Dixon, the LSM, on the near side. Dean Doolin, the winger, on the far side.
So I'll be curious to see how JR plays this face-off. He should be able to get the clamp, and then he'll have a number of different options on where to go with this.
Again, Benjamin with an LSM, a long pole. At the face-off dot, ball pops up, and Dean Doolin fields it like a shortstop, breaks down inside and gets inside the restraining box to get the Highland Park off the clock. Substitutions come.
Anytime you can get the ball into Dean Doolin's hands on a face-off, it's about as safe a place as you can go here in high school lacrosse.
We've seen that. Yeah, well, once in that last quarter, he takes it and runs through, puts his head down like a fullback and goes through 3 defenders.
Dean probably sitting at 195 pounds and 6'1" right now, of not a lot of body fat. One of the faster players on the team, just a fantastic athlete for Highland Park.
Connor McCutcheon
We're
working inside as they cover up Hash Brown. Like you said, Josh, they're locking off Harrison Brown now with a short stick. And now his short stick rolls off him, and Hunt Henry on the far side catches one under his arm and moves it down to James Allen, and now back up top to Bodie Para. Bodie moves down inside, flips it to Henrik Johnson. Great feed off a 2-man check there. And Bodie that was Colton Heinlein making the feed down into Henrik Johnson.
Colton, one of our best offensive passers.
He's an incredible passer.
his vision is unbelievable. James Allen showing the speed there to corral that loose ball.
Yeah, loose ball there. John Park gets another opportunity as Harrison Brown is trying to shake his pole. They've really keyed on Harrison this game, trying to take away one of the offensive weapons for the Scots. There's a good one. James Allen to Henrik Johnson, two of the captains. And Highland Park ties it up at 7, Josh.
Yeah, we talked about Henrik's ability to time his cuts and his off-ball movement, and you see it there. He's just a fantastic finisher and a fantastic off-ball player, and sort of a
Yeah, James Allen bending over a little bit there. I don't know if he took a shot in the gut, if he's out of breath, if he's feeling queasy, but he's got a little gimp in his step here.
James took a shot on that goal that he scored there in the third quarter. And
Yeah.
he's been kind of rubbing his ribs ever since. But listen, James isn't going to come out of the game unless somebody forces him out. And so here's Corbin Gray battling for this.
Nice move. Corbin Gray scoops it up. Another tough face-off scrum. Corbin Gray picks it up and gets it into the defense. Now Hamner looks like he'll move it across midfield. And Bodie Parr checks in, and you got to remember the 2010 rule. We hear that buzzer go off just then, Josh. You got to suddenly switch back to summer ball rules.
Yeah.
These Texas boys on the 80-second shot clock all year.
Yeah, these boys have had to mentally bring themselves back to DE turf. And
Oh, there's another one. Bodie Parra to Carter Sutton to Henrik Johnson on the inside, and the Scots back out in front where they like to be.
yeah, I'm not sure if that was Henrik or was that James Allen. Either way, that was a quick shot by either one of them.
We do a fantastic sponsorship by Powers Parts, but we do not have the benefit of replay down here, Josh. And I'm too old to remember who shot it 5 seconds ago.
And we don't have the Fred goalie cam that we can get down and look at that replay as well. But all of a sudden, Highland Park starting to find some creases here on
find
the
a little
Benjamin
rhythm.
defense.
And when they move it that fast, too, Josh, this old man, I can't process that fast. I'm like the old Dell computer from
Yeah,
20.
I'm going to bet a hot dog that was James Allen there. I think that was James Allen on a righty.
Benjamin coming with another tough ride here, and Griffin Hamner has been the man to get it across for the Scots. That may be some strategy in that move.
Yeah, I think the Scots have had enough of dinking around with this ride by Benjamin. It's been an effective ride, and they've just decided to clear out and give their poles some space and let them move it over. And reminiscence of what we did in the ESD championship state game last year. ESD has got that kind of soft ride where they put everybody right there on the midfield. And last year at the state championship, we really used those poles to break that ride.
Well, you Bond, Hamner, Blevins, all former receivers of football. They're fast kids, you say. There's McCutcheon, the big Charles Barkley style push inside. And that's a shot. That is a shot. It rolls out of bounds. And Colton Heinlein, very smart, plays man ball on his man, lets the ball go out of bounds, and is still the closest to the ball. There's a shot. But good shot by Colton there after a good heads-up play. He's got a very high lacrosse IQ.
I think they're saying that went through the net. I think they're saying that went through the net.
And we'll see. We've got a hole in the net, and the goalie is not making much of an argument, Josh, where Harrison is.
No, I think that they're going to end up giving them this goal here. I don't think they'd go this far without. For any of you at home, if you could rewind the live stream and send me a text.
And they give it to him. And that is going to be called a goal as the ball goes through the net, and they're going to stop the clock, have a maintenance timeout here, and try to get some zip ties on this.
Yeah,
the goalie, I could see, it's the opposite corner, Josh, but even that corner looks bad.
yeah, we'll see how this plays out the rest of the game, but they've got a conference going on with the officials, and I can't tell if that's a official from the park that's putting this on. Okay, so we've got a gentleman out from Trilogy, and it looks like he's going to zip tie up our goals here, get that taken care of. But going back to what we've seen over the last 4 or 5 minutes, Kate, this has been really a flip-flopping game in terms of momentum and execution. And here's Highland Park starting to put together a great run.
It looks like they're going to wave off the goal here. And Highland Park's going to start with...
It is now...
Confusion all the way around, Josh. So they initially stop play and ultimately call it a goal, and then we'll see what they end up doing here with possession.
Well, we clearly had one possession.
So this will be a double whammy here for the Scots. They take the point off the board, and then they give possession to the Benjamin School. So unfortunate situation when you have a net defect, and 3 minutes later, no one can remember what the situation was.
Again, it's confusion, but James Allen, the ex-attackman, was standing down behind the goal when that shot took off. There was no question about the backup here. But these things happen. Here's the deal. We are at 8-7, Kate. Highland Park is, we're still arguing our case over here with Coach Pressler, and he's going to make his case that it should be our ball. But Highland Park looks
you're
like
going to take the goal off. Not only was our guy back. In any case, it looks like it's going to be Benjamin ball. Here comes the whistle.
All right, 8-7, 8 minutes to go. Benjamin ball.
Yeah, after all that, Benjamin gets the ball. They move it up across midfield into their box and down below X. And Jackson Bond with the loose ball. So Dean Doolin gets it up and across midfield. And so after all that confusion, all is right in the world, and Highland Park comes away with the possession. Dean Doolin finds Hash Brown as we get a gust of wind that almost blows Zilke off the top riser.
Somehow the lacrosse gods made that correct, and Benjamin went down, and kind of an unforced error there, and Highland Park got the ball back, so no harm, no foul.
Yeah, good turn. Good athletic move. That number 15's been on Harrison today. He's very athletic, very quick, and able to stick with him as Connor McCutcheon moves it around the far side and then back to, got to be James Allen at X, I assume. James switches left, goes right, skip past the Parr across the field. Ball is loose. Parr picks it back up. And now Parr moves inside, left-hand shot. Bounces in front of the keeper, and a save for Benjamin.
Yeah, I think with this Benjamin goalie, if we're going to bounce shot, we got to bounce it a few more yards in front of him. Try and get that kick up at shoulder height or helmet height, not down around the ankles. He seems to be excellent down there at those short hops. There's
a failure to advance. Oh, no, that's a timeout call. I don't think you could call timeout in the defensive zone on a 2010 rule, but they do. And so we'll see what happens here. Coach Presser not happy about that call either.
I'm not sure you're allowed to call timeout in the defensive zone ever.
Well, I have seen if the ball is out of play. I've seen Coach Presser, if it's out of bounds on your defensive end, you can call timeout. But during a transition, when you're on the clock to clear it, how do you call a timeout?
How do you call a timeout? It's never happened in the history of lacrosse, Kate. So we have witnessed history being made today with a time running out to clear, and you call a timeout to save yourself.
Coach Presser, no doubt, he's still arguing the goal over there, saying that he made the goal score. No doubt arguing that he's been in this for 42 years and knows the rules.
There was we were down in Houston, Coach Presser's first year, and he informed one of the referees there during the game that he was in fact wrong on the rule, as Presser had been on the rule committee that had written the rule, and that he would like him to brush up on that rule book. One of the more colorful comments there by Coach Presser, his first year at the Highland Park Scots.
And again, one of these things, what it gives you, Josh, you get a chance to call a timeout and switch who has the ball. So they go from a pole to a shorty. No doubt you put it in, it's like putting a quick point guard in there, having the benefit of a timeout. I don't know how many seconds they have remaining on this clear, but not a favorable rule in any case. Good check by Bond there. As the Benjamin goalie brings it down and gets the clear. Seems like more than 20 seconds to me, but who's counting, Josh?
Potentially nobody at this point, Kate.
Ball on the far side. Now Hamner defending. Back up to the top of the box where Blevins is there. And Corbin Gray, the shorty.
The wind really starting to pick up here, much like it did the other day. And that wind is cold.
Yeah. Griffin Hamner forcing his man to push it behind GLE. And now Mac Dixon comes out on his man. He's going to try to force him to his left, to feed on the inside. Now back down below GLE again. Where you've got Bond and Doolin down there. Benjamin School looking to work it around to number 8. Dean Doolin with a good push there. Now back out to the top of the box. Hamner out on his man.
Benjamin showing good patience here on offense, not in any rush, looking for a matchup that they like.
Exactly. No rush, no shot clock. Good slides by the defense. Defense staying man on. Ford Blevins staying inside near the hub, ready to slide. Finally, there's a ball that's going to go close to being out of bounds. Hamner's out there with the chop, but Benjamin able to corral it. And we'll see if Benjamin gets put on the clock here.
So for those of you at home, the referees do have the ability to put a shot clock on the opposing team if they feel like they are stalling and not actively looking to score.
Big shot coming finally, bouncing about 10 feet over the goal. Willie yelling at his defenders, trying to fire him up. Under 4 minutes to play. Scots lead by 1.
Yeah, a couple of the Scots defenders starting to grab their shorts. They're trying to get a little bit of oxygen there when that ball was out of bounds.
Yeah, certainly the wind probably making it tough to hear through the helmets and the ear holes. Benjamin working it down, and Scots go into a zone look here.
Yeah, I think their defense was a little bit gassed.
And there it's picked off by Hamner.
Again, we don't have the stat board here.
And there's the referee blows the whistle on the wrong line. Shows you how effective these referees are.
We were close to having a Highland Park parent mutiny here as they all were starting to inform the referee of his mistake.
Yeah. Play a multi-sport field here, like we have in so many of the fields across the country, Josh. We're playing the blue lines, and the ref called the white line on that one. And again, he almost was escorted with some of the bombs. I think were the louder ones here.
Okay, so on that last possession,
I missed it, Josh. I don't know what that was. We're down at that end. What was it that time, Josh? Moving pick?
no, they called offsides,
Offsides?
but we were not. I did not see 6 because I was counting.
All right. Well, offsides call and a fast break. Under 3 minutes to play here. Ties it up at 8. As Owen Lashetsky comes for the faceoff. Owen with a clean win. Flips it. Oh, no. Loses it. He's trying to flip it inside to the defense and doesn't get it over the attackers. And now the clock has come unplugged. And we'll get an official timeout here.
We've lost the scoreboard.
So a calamity of errors in the last few minutes. You got a ball that goes through the net. They call it a goal. Then they wave off the goal, give the ball to Benjamin. Then the clear by Bond, they call him on the wrong line. And now, after a offsides call that Josh doesn't feel was in fact offsides, Benjamin scores to tie it up. We lose the clock.
2:41. It's 2:20. It's good for us.
2 minutes and 41 seconds is what they're putting on the clock. Tied up at 8 apiece going here in the fourth quarter. Again, there is no shot clock here, Cade. So this is where that shot clock comes into play. Typically, here you would have had about 60 seconds
That's
left
right.
on the clock. There's no shot clock here. And so it's just a matter of Benjamin probably working this offense until they find something that they like.
Yeah, much like you saw at the end of the first half, Josh, or the and Pierce trying to add some pressure. Highland Park does not want to let them get comfortable and just running time off the clock. Benjamin doing everything they can do to pass the ball on the perimeter and keep the ball outside of the hub and try to get this down to a more manageable time frame.
There's Pierce Powers.
Good job by Pierce Powers there. Pierce Powers moves the ball down, gets it to Allen.
Wisely here with 2 minutes to go. Highland Park now has the ball, and they have the ability to hold the ball until the final shot. So wise move by James Allen, the KG vet and captain, understanding the shot clock or lack of shot clock and the situation, pulls it out.
Yeah, no need to continue a fast break there. Highland Park will probably call a timeout at some point here. Benjamin now trying to do the same thing. Colton Highland, one of your best ball handlers for these situations.
Yeah.
He's gunning to run it around, and we're now under 90 seconds.
Yeah, and you got a shorty on Colton, so you feel pretty good here. It's just a matter of, for Coach Pressler, at what point he wants to call the timeout. And whether that's, I would think maybe around a minute or so. Kate, if I were to guess,
Yeah, and Colton Heinlein now just getting a little bit of a challenge from number 7. And just keeps his stick in his outside hand there and lets his defender whack on him. We're at 55 seconds.
so it looks
And there's the timeout.
so 50 seconds. The ball will start, Kate. If I'm not mistaken, it'll start back there at X.
I believe so. Yeah.
Uh,
Start where it stopped.
Nothing that Presser does is by chance. So that probably means that's where he wanted the ball to start on this offensive possession. My guess is you'll see it in James Allen's hands back there at X. Maybe a little 2-man game, or they may start it off in Hash Brown's game. Hash.
Could
And,
be an
his
exciting
hands
one
and-
for sure. It's you play a whole game, you quarter to quarter, the momentum has swung. You end up with 52 seconds on the clock with the teams tied at 8. Definitely a good game. Some of the errors from the officials notwithstanding that we've seen.
Yeah, I think this game has certainly been a game that has been affected by the referee play, and whether that's in your favor or not in your favor, you typically like to see the game where at the end you didn't even realize the ref was there, and that usually means that they've done a good job. Typically, when there's controversy, it means maybe things haven't gone quite as smoothly as they had hoped.
And not really the penalty calls today. There's been 2 penalties, and the Scots have benefited from both of those with man-up situations. But some of the other calls, we corrected the out-of-bounds call from the wrong line, but, really a head-scratcher from that taking the point off the board. But there was no harm ultimately in that.
No, but as teams travel and they they go to different events like these, part of the referee's job between each quarter and before the game certainly is to check the nets. You see them check the nets
Right.
and make sure. We've got a stick check going on here for the referee.
Stick check on that's Colton Heinlen's stick. Yeah, check. A coach can call for a stick check.
Yep.
At any point in the
and
game.
He just pulled out a tape measure and measured it.
Measure the length.
And now he's checking the pocket.
Measure the pocket.
And they've made a determination that Colton Heinlein has an illegal stick. So what?
And just when we say there had been a penalty against Highland Park, one gets called, and it's due to a stick check. Haven't seen a stick check in Texas in some time, Josh.
So, turn of events here. Highland Park is now man down on defense.
Yeah, after waiting till the 55-second mark to call timeout, you almost could have run the clock out completely and not face that. We'll see what, in any case, Highland called for a illegal stick, illegal pocket, and the Benjamin School will start with the ball, 52 seconds on the clock. Raucous crowd here from both sides. Good attendance for the Benjamin School and the Highland Park folks. And the Benjamin School is working it around. Man up here, starting defenders in the man down defense for Highland Park. Benjamin quickly moving it around there. Ball's picked up by Hamner, back to White. And he flips it over the top to Doolin. Doolin picks it up and does the tightrope walk.
He's going to get it into the box here.
He does. And timeout, Highland Park. So after all of that, Josh, Highland Park gets the drama of the situation. Boy, did D. Doolin walk that line. as he threw the ball. Willie White throws it to Dean on a back shoulder fade, gets over Doolin, but he catches it on the bounce before it gets to the blue line. And HP has 11 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, this has been an exciting end to the game. Highland Park's going to get a shot to win it. You know, my guess is that they do a two-man game with Hash Brown here. We're going to have it on the wing here on the left side, I believe. And so my guess is the ball's going to be in Hash Brown. You're going to have a screen, and Hash Brown will come off that and have some backside action.
Yeah, Garrett Ledman being left to make the call as Coach Pressler is happy just to chat with the officials there and let Ledman draw up the final play.
Something tells me that they were not making dinner plans this evening, Cade. Certainly been a wild and fascinating end. Hash Brown looks like he's going to pick up the ball on the far side of the field.
Highland Park's still on a man down here, so it's 5-on-6, Josh. And it looks like they're content. Coach Pressler must have been asking if they're going to play overtime, and that looks like what they're set to do here is just go into overtime, and that's what they'll do.
So, not sure the rules here at Trilogy, but we don't. If you're man down and you have the ball at the end of a quarter, you
start with the ball.
You start with the ball. So
that's
in
correct.
theory, Highland Park should start with the ball here in overtime. Man down for whatever amount of time is left. And the idea being that they'll hold it until they're all even and then get involved into their offense.
That's right. And this is a lesson that Coach Pressler taught the team last week versus Bentonville, as Griffin Hamner being the victim of. We were man down. We took the ball, and and Griffin tried to take a shot because he saw that the time was expiring in the quarter.
Yes.
And hey, it was a lesson for everyone in that game. The whole team was like, it doesn't matter who's man up or man down. If you you want possession at the end of a quarter, at the end of a game going into overtime, if there's still a penalty in effect, because it negates the face-off. And like you said, Josh, here, you put 5-10 seconds on the clock, whatever there's going to be 5 or 10 minutes. You don't have a face-off. You keep the ball till the penalty expires. Then you set up for your game winner.
Yeah, and I think this offensive possession here, once we get to 5-on-5, I think, one of the key factors and probably something Ledman's going to be talking to the Highland Park Scots about is to make sure if we're going to shoot the ball, we got somebody at X. Right?
That's right.
Make sure that we're going to win that backup because, again, Highland Park's going to be under no pressure here to shoot anytime soon. So it's just going to be a matter of them working their offensive zone and finding a shot that they like.
Yeah, that's what we do. We switch into the field like we do every quarter.
So it looks like we're going to have Dean Doolin out here again, defensive midi,
but strong man with the
but
right.
Look for Hash Brown to break free here and get it to Dean if he can. Hash is going to have to break a double team here.
And that buzzer was just the expiration of the intermission between the periods. Yeah. But you're right. Hash Brown, he draws a pole and a shorty.
We've got 4 minutes in this overtime here on the clock. We are assuming it's going to be a non-running clock as well, and it looks like they're going to put Hash inside the box now.
And Hash Brown really just ready to run it around like a bumblebee. He does. He runs past both his guys. And then he's got a break on the inside. This will do it. He does. Exactly what he wanted to do. I got to tell you, Josh, I've seen that more than once from Harrison Brown over the years.
What an ending to a fantastic game. The Benjamin fans are in shock. They certainly thought that things were looking to be in their favor. The idea there was Hashbrown was going to run this thing out, and we're going to go 6-on-6. Hashbrown turns there and sees nothing but green space, and does his best. Air McNair.
He starts with a shorty and a pole on him. He runs around like a bumblebee. They at one point corner him on the sideline, give him a whack like the pinata, and he spins out of him. And suddenly, it's a 6-on-5 situation, and now 2 are behind you. So there's 4 in front of you. It's either going to open up something for you. And I've seen it over the years, and I've seen it in Naptown twice. I've seen it in Club Nationals. When Harrison Brown can break from a sideline down GLE, he can get by somebody, and he certainly did there. Puts it in the back of the net. Close one and a breath holder for the fans at Highland Park. But Highland Park comes out on the long end and stays good down here in Florida.
You know, at the end of the year, you look back, and there are certain games that stand out throughout a season, and certain games that are building blocks. And certainly, we don't know how this season is going to play out, but there's a very real chance that this game can be one of those building blocks.
Yeah, for sure.
Highland Park faced a ton of adversity, both from a fantastic Benjamin squad and some interesting calls, some shot clock stuff, some scoreboard stuff, some goal malfunction items, right? Everything was thrown at the Scots, and they didn't lose their cool. They didn't lose their heads, and they just continued to work, and ultimately found themselves on top here by an excellent play.
Yeah, it is just like, with the stick violation, the illegal netless calling on Colton. You start on defense after what you think is going to be a play to run to win the game. Highland Park keeps their defense in and up, and eventually knocks it down, gets the clear, and that which leads you to, again, a lesson from last week, starting the quarter with the ball in a man down situation. So, but anyways, Josh, love playing with you here. It's calling the game with you. The rain has started, so now we'll walk back to the car, give up the safety of our cover here, and we'll see you tomorrow night, 7 o'clock in the stadium for the matchup versus the Berkshire School. Is that right, Fred? Fred's giving me a nod, so that's where we'll be. Hopefully nicer weather tomorrow. If not, we'll be under a nice cover. Is Kevin Allen with the shirt of the day and the shirt of the week is the man of the hour. For Josh Zilke, I'm Kate Andrews. So long from Paradise Sports Complex here in Naples, Florida. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Thanks, buddy. All right. Hey, confirm that location on the field. Okay. See you, Fred. All right. See you, buddy.
We haven't even given the bell.
Very good, guys.